What's the worst leader development you received that you had to unlearn later? My first squad leader was Staff Sergeant Vernon Briggs. 15 years in the Army, respected by officers, feared by privates. He had this leadership philosophy he drilled into everyone under him. Never admit weakness, never show doubt. Leaders who second-guess themselves lose respect. Briggs would say this constantly. During training, during deployments, during every counseling session. The moment your soldiers see you uncertain, you've lost them. I believed it completely. Thought that's what leadership meant. Always having the answer, never showing vulnerability. Project confidence even when you had no idea what you were doing. Got promoted to sergeant at 23. Youngest in my company. Felt like I had to prove myself constantly. My first squad was a mess. 8 soldiers, half of them fresh from basic training. The other half were troublemakers who'd been passed around between squads. I ran things exactly like Briggs taught me. Acted like I knew everything. Never admitted when I was confused about orders. Made decisions quickly without asking for input. Private Dalton Webb asked me once about a training exercise. Sergeant, I don't understand why we're doing it this way. Seems like there's a better approach. I shut him down immediately. Because I said so. Leaders don't explain themselves to subordinates. That's what Briggs would have said. Thought I was being strong. My squad hated me. I could feel it but didn't understand why. I was doing everything my first squad leader taught me. 3 months in, we deployed to Iraq. Forward operating base outside Mosul. Real combat operations, not training anymore. Got tasked with setting up security positions around the perimeter. I'd never done this in actual combat conditions. Had no idea what I was doing, but I remembered Briggs. Never showed doubt, so I assigned positions quickly, acting confident. Didn't ask my team leaders for input. Didn't check with anyone who had deployment experience. That night, insurgents probed our defenses. Found a massive gap in coverage I'd created because I didn't know proper spacing for night operations. Nobody got hurt, but only because the attackers withdrew early. My platoon sergeant found the gap during his inspection. Who set up these positions? I did, Sergeant. Did you ask anyone for help? Check the manual? Request guidance? I stayed silent. Felt like admitting I should have asked for help meant admitting I was a bad leader. Platoon sergeant pulled me aside. His name was Sergeant First Class Hector Vance. Quiet guy, 20 years in. You don't know what you're doing, do you? Everything Briggs taught me said deny it, but I was exhausted from pretending. No, Sergeant, I've never set up combat security positions before. Expected him to tear into me. Instead, he sat down on a concrete barrier. Why didn't you say something? My old squad leader taught me that leaders never admit weakness. Vance was quiet for a long moment. Who was your squad leader? Staff Sergeant Briggs? Vernon Briggs? Tall guy always yelling? Yes, Sergeant. Vance shook his head. Briggs is a terrible leader. Nobody respects him except officers who don't work with him daily. His soldiers comply out of fear, not loyalty. That hit me hard. I'd modeled my entire leadership style after someone nobody actually respected. Listen carefully, Vance said. Real leaders admit when they don't know something. They ask for help. They value input from their team. That's not weakness, that's intelligence. He spent the next hour teaching me proper security positioning, showed me what I'd done wrong, explained the reasoning behind each decision. Tomorrow you're going to redo these positions, but this time you'll ask your team leaders for their input, especially Webb. He's got a brain. Use it. Next morning I called my squad together. Felt like I was jumping off a cliff. Yesterday I screwed up the security positions. I've never done this in combat before and I didn't ask for help. That was stupid and dangerous. Waited for them to lose respect for me. Instead, Webb spoke up. Appreciate you saying that, Sergeant. I noticed some issues but didn't think you'd want to hear it. I want to hear it. What did you see? Webb pulled out a notebook. Had detailed observations about sightlines, dead space, and overlapping fields of fire. Stuff I'd completely missed. We redesigned the entire security plan together. Webb's suggestions were brilliant. Specialist Curtis Bowen added ideas about communication procedures. Even the troublemakers contributed useful input. That night, our positions were solid. No gaps, proper coverage. When the platoon sergeant inspected, he nodded approval. Much better. How'd you figure it out? Asked my team sergeant. For the rest of that deployment, I asked questions constantly. Admitted when I didn't know things. Requested help from anyone with more experience. My squad's performance improved dramatically. Soldiers started coming to me with ideas instead of just complaints. We became one of the top performing squads in the company. 5 years later, I'm running my own training for new sergeants. First thing I tell them is, forget whatever tough guy leadership nonsense you learned. Real strength is admitting you don't have all the answers. Real confidence is knowing when to ask for help. Had a young sergeant approach me after class last month. That's the opposite of what my first squad leader taught me. Who was your first squad leader? Staff Sergeant Briggs. I laughed. Yeah, forget everything he taught you. Trust me on this one. Briggs retired 2 years ago. Heard through the grapevine that he's got no relationship with any of his former soldiers. Nobody stayed in touch. Nobody came to his retirement ceremony except people who had to be there officially. Meanwhile, Webb's a sergeant first class now. Still sends me messages asking for leadership advice. Half my old squad stayed in the Army. We have a group chat where we still share ideas and help each other out. That's the difference between leading through fear and leading through trust.